Hello everybody, good morning. I am down at Gearing's Point, a bit chilly at the moment, hence the beanie and the scarf, but out of respect for my audience, let me take my beanie off and greet you in the name of our Lord. There is in the record of Hermanus an account of a huge wave, and we get lots of waves here on this coastline, but a huge wave that crashed right over Gearing's Point. We're just down the road from the Windsor Hotel, and apparently this wave was so huge that it flooded the Windsor Hotel even. Not sure what year that was, but it is certainly a story that has been verified by people who were told that story by their parents or even their grandparents. Be that as it may, it's wonderful being out here in the open air at Gearing's Point. I'm a great admirer of Moses. There was a man, probably in my estimation, one of the greatest leaders in human history. When you think what Moses accomplished with a ragtag band of rather stubborn Israelites, tasked with the responsibility of getting them from the oppression of Pharaoh's Egypt through to the promised land. It took Moses 40 years to accomplish that, and what he endured, what he experienced en route to the promised land really has to be read to be believed. Be that as it may, I think the foundations of Moses' life were laid at a very young age when he was surrounded by 5 women. Now, we've spoken about this before some years ago up at the church. Do you remember the 5 women in Moses' life? All right, let's just go through them. His mother, Jochebed. Now there was a strong woman. Pharaoh had given the instruction that all the children, or the little boys, had to be, when they were born, thrown into the Nile River. There was a move, so tradition says, at that time, rather just to let the children of Israel die out of its own accord, rather than suffer the humiliation of a pagan such as Pharaoh. Nevertheless, Jochebed and her husband, his name escapes me at the moment, they have little Moses. And Jochebed's influence in Moses' life is very apparent, a woman of great courage. Another woman in Moses' life was Miriam. That's his sister. She was the one when that instruction was given and Moses reached the age of 3 months, and he was put in that little basket made of papyrus and sent floating down the Nile River, or one of the small little streams of the Nile River. And Miriam was the one who kind of shadowed this little basket, making sure that it went in the right direction. Miriam too was a very forthright and very strong woman, Moses' older sister. And the others, do you remember Puah and Shiphrah? They were Hebrew midwives, and Pharaoh had told them that they were to identify these little male Israelite infants coming into this world and to take them and to deal with them as he commanded. Well, Puah and Shiphrah, they ignore, at great risk to themselves, I might add, they ignore Pharaoh's command. And then, who have you got left here? You've got Bitya. Do you know who Bitya is in the story of Moses? She was Pharaoh's daughter, and it was Bitya who found the basket with the infant Moses lying in it. And even though the instruction had been given by her father that such boys were to be killed, Bitya's heart was moved. And you say, well, where do you find that in the Bible? Well, in the book of Chronicles, there is a reference to Pharaoh's daughter, a daughter of God. And those who've been reading the Bible much longer than I have, down through the centuries, have said that it was Bitya who saved Moses' life. So you've got Jochebed, Miriam, Shiphrah and Puah, and you've got Bitya. And then number 5, the woman that I think had huge input into Moses' life, and that was Zipporah. Now, Zipporah, you may remember, was a daughter of that Midianite priest when Moses fled into the wilderness. And these girls, these women, were watering their father's flocks at a fountain, at a well, and there were some men around there interfering with them, and Moses got stuck into these guys and saved basically these women. Amongst them was Zipporah. To cut a long story short, Zipporah became Moses' wife. You remember after God said to Moses that he was to go to Pharaoh and say to them, let my people go. Eventually they went. Moses, Zipporah and young Gershom. Gershom hadn't been circumcised. And for some reason that I don't always understand, it transpired that God wanted to eliminate Moses. And who comes to the rescue except Moses' wife, Zipporah? And she cuts Gershom, this little boy's foreskin. And it's a very bloody scene. You should read it. It's most interesting. So there we have 5 women. So what's all that about? Well, if you look at them all, they are amazing women. They're strong women. They're single-minded women. They are courageous women. They're not going to do something just because Pharaoh has told them to do things. They stand up. They are women with incredible, amazing courage. And so we think of Moses, but we often forget these 5 women. I want you just to think about the role that you women who are watching this can have in your children, in your grandchildren's lives. And may not always be apparent, but as they grow older, they will look back and say, yeah, Omar, just the impact of Granny upon them. Be to your children and grandchildren a gift from God, like Shiphrah and Puah and Jochebed and Miriam and Bitya and Zipporah. An unusual theme perhaps this morning, but I just thought it would be interesting for us all to reflect for a few moments on the 5 women in the life of the young Moses. God be with you.